Hey everyone, how's it going? Azren, the language nerd here. Hope you're doing very, very well. As you can see, currently walking downtown, which is obviously interesting. Just walking to my car right now. I had a quick little experience that happened to me right now that I wanted to talk about as I kind of head back to my car. I was teaching a lesson right now. I'm gonna stop here. I was teaching a lesson, and the student made a comment about one student made a comment about a job interview that they had gone to in English. And in the job interview, they found that they did not speak English to the level that they would have liked. They were using very casual language. They felt that they're stumbling over the words a little bit, and it didn't go as well as they would have liked. And it was interesting for me because she is extremely, extremely, extremely strong in English, like very, very high kind of level in English, much higher than really most English learners. Extremely strong, right? So strong that it's kind of inspiring in many ways. And it was interesting, and it made me realize that often fluency is something that can be heavily dependent upon your environment and upon the people and the types of scenarios that you are going through in your life. For example, this person that is in my class, right? She is really strong in English when it comes to day-to-day scenarios, like shopping, talking with friends, talking with me. She can watch essentially any kind of TV show, documentary, presentation, TED Talk, anything, and understand 95% of it. Like, she could really has a deep level, but she clearly, based on the conversation today, does not have a lot of experience with job interviews and the language that is required to be able to, I guess you could say, successfully navigate a job interview the way that she would like, right? And she was even saying to me that if she was doing it in Spanish, which is her mother tongue, there are so many things that she knew what she'd want to say, but in English, she couldn't find those right words. And so that's a big thing. Often fluency is dependent upon your environment, because there are certain scenarios which you can navigate really, 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 really well. On the other hand, there are scenarios which you can't necessarily navigate all that well because you haven't had practice with them, you haven't learned the words to get through those scenarios. And I think one of the things that's really interesting is that, I think someone who will often be classified as fluent is someone who has mastered, quote unquote mastered, or at least developed a certain level of comfort with the, let's say, 80 to 90% of most common things that you would ever need to know or ever need to do in the language that you're learning, right? So this girl that I was working with today, she definitely has that. She could get through most day-to-day scenarios with zero effort or very minimal effort, right? But that's just not, for many people, it's not going to be enough. Like this girl is talking today, she now lives in Calgary, and she's gonna have to do job interviews to get a good job and pay for all her bills and move up in the company. She's going to need to be able to know a heck of a lot more than just, the 80% of things that you would normally learn in order to achieve that kind of basic, let's call it the basic fluency per se, right? So something that I was really thinking about today, especially after that lesson, is that, I think you need to be very mindful of the types, that bus is loud, the types of scenarios that you are going to be going through. Like, what are common scenarios you're going to be going through? What are common scenarios you're going to have to be able to navigate, and make sure that you're able to do those well. The last thing I'll kind of finish on this video here is a friend of mine who has a decent level of Spanish. Like, he's not super fluent, but he's strong enough. I'd say like mid-intermediate is probably a good way to classify his level. But what's interesting about this friend is that he has really, really, really understood how to navigate the first 5-10 minutes of a conversation without that much effort. Like, he will sound extremely natural when he meets someone for the first time and they're talking and they're asking him questions about his work, about his schooling, about blah, 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 what he does in life, how he is. He can navigate those scenarios really, really well. He can sound super natural. He can sound really super, not native, but really close to native. And as a result, he will often trick people trick people into thinking that he's much stronger in the language than he is. And the positive effects of being able to do that are quite substantial in my perspective. So just kind of a last final thought I thought we'd wrap up on. And yeah, I gotta go. My parking's gonna expire soon. Gotta walk over to my car. So thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate your attention. We will chat later. Bye for now. See you.